cross-culture with food. A lot of the issues in schools and in neighborhoods can shift if somebody has, you know, has eaten your food.
Our group talked about creating a greater sense of unification amongst communities and community members because we saw a lot of programs and organizations that are out there doing really great work, but a lot of times they're not aware of each other's existence, or they're stepping on each other's toes in some ways. So we talked about creating websites or physical localities where they can come together and figure out what people are doing on the ground to kind of work together and tackle these problems together as a community.
We talked about expanding value added such as mustard and sauces and takeout food, and maybe copying from the old reusable milk cartons and doing reusable containers like having soup buckets, how to get food growing in yards and how to be able to market those, how to work beyond the political bottlenecks, job training program centered on food, a Kickstarter campaign with a year-round greenhouse, and it's all one plot at a time.
So we talked about collaboration, so all of the expertise in this space, seeing to it that everyone connects with at least one other person and that we can build stronger systems together instead of having so many smaller things or so many things going on, that we could be more cohesive. Unity. Mama Naima says unity is necessary. And then asking at least one young person about their relationship with food and bringing that back to our next social innovation lab. Creating more spaces for conservation and tapping into all of our expertise, whether you're just a community member or you are a CEO or running a program, that we need to be collaborative about all of everything that everyone has to bring to the table.
And if you hold it straight on, it works better somehow.
So we talked about collaboration around land access and about a multi-tier, scalable, multi-voice strategy. And the main collaboration we focused on was trying to bring together natural allies who have a lot of interest already and are working on land, but also making sure we stay really networked in our actionable steps with the people who are working on making sure there's markets for the things coming through land and making a good case around things like taxes and the benefits that this land has for the municipalities who are often in control of it. And the actionable steps were largely around translating models we know are working well and that we're connected to already. So we spent a lot of time on the Cleveland Evergreen Cooperative Project and the building on the cooperative projects going on here, and the New Orleans Farm and Food, which is a network of making land that's available more transparent and figuring out strategies for what to do with it.
All right, we talked about interacting with youth in securing vacant lots in North Minneapolis, Breaking Bread as part of the process, and media messaging as a campaign. That way to bring more youth together because most of those youth are on social networking 24/7 pretty much. So it's just a more easier way to get in contact with them and to bring them closer to the activities going on in their community.
And we talked about realizing community resources, and this goes with having there are a lot of organizations doing the same work, and knowing the work they're doing. And a step into realizing that outcome is having co-ops. We thought co-ops are a great way to keep money in the community and a great way to get the community involved with, and using co-ops as an avenue through classes and stuff, food classes.
Action that my table came up with is go to the parks and interact with the youth, ask the youth questions and get their input, and the outcome is real connections with the youth. Simple as that.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm also speaking for the community table, and as you saw from Kali's pictures at the beginning, we have our team of people working on distribution, on growing, and on processing, and this year we're trying to get really solid on what we want the farmers to grow that we can actually sell. So any of you are with a buying club, with a church that might want to do a canning event, if you're with a restaurant or a school, we are looking for orders right now for both fresh and frozen produce of what you want us to deliver you. And so either talk to Kali, Candace, Josh, Dan, Paris, or myself, and we're looking for as many orders of stuff you want, both in season and out of season, and then we'll then get in touch with the farmers about what we want them to plant.
We were talking about reaching more people in this community, and so we were trying to improve communication. So we were proposing like a mass multimedia campaign, like for example to have interesting posters on the bus stops, so to get people that not always come to this meeting, but people that probably they don't know what's going on, so also to get them involved. So this is the idea is to have a mass multimedia campaign to connect people to all these great ideas and raise a collective consciousness and expect the impact beyond this room. Thanks.
All right, my table talked about increasing the economic vitality in North Minneapolis through food ventures. So be that grocery stores, co-ops, corner stores, etc. And we talked about the first step being collecting the business plans of those ventures and collectively create a movement that can be used to leverage partnerships. So getting everybody together to put forward their ideas to build the economic vitality of the community and present that to the city so that we can get the backing that's necessary to be effective.
I like it.
I just want to acknowledge that we already have everything we need in this room.
Yes.
Sorry, I get really emotional about food. It's sacred to me. So the outcome the outcome would be that resources that are currently coming into the community would deepen their impact. And the steps to that would be creating a sounding board that's community-based with youth and elders to hold organizations, politicians, growers accountable. For instance, nonprofits who are writing grants and saying they'll do things in the grants that they're not doing. Or constituents teaching residents how to access them, because it can be very intimidating. You don't know how to reach out to your congressperson or your mayor or whomever. And then for farmers, there was an example in one of the movies about the presentations about the 30 to 40% waste, creating a conduit for reducing that waste. Thank you.
Convening a conversation with some technical expertise, with the folks who have it that we feel like need to share it, with cooperative development services who were mentioned earlier, with Emerge, with Neon and others, to talk about the metrics, the landscape and numbers, so we can know how to organize in ways that we can effectively and successfully accomplish the goals and visions we've set out today. Who will convene this conversation? Okay, there we go. Sam!
You didn't see my hand go. Thank you all for taking time out of your very busy lives to come and be here. Each of you are sacred. Our food is sacred. Each of us are sacred. We spend so much time being human doings that we fail to practice our deepest wisdom. Let today be a marker on the journey back towards our wisdom, our embodied wisdom in the collective field, and let's grow health and wealth in North Minneapolis together. I can't thank you enough for being here and staying through the whole journey today. One of the questions in organizing is, what do we do next? How do we continue from here? It's an important question. So in the not too distant future, because Northside Fresh and Appetite for Change is two of the groups that are working in North Minneapolis are committed to more convenings like this. We're going to make another one happen. We're not quite ready to give you a date, but we will do it again probably in about 3 months. And then we'll do it one more time, probably about 3 months after that. And then one more time, 3 months after that in the new year. So the next time we come together, let's be ready to share stories about what's manifesting. And as we talk about what's manifesting, let's talk about what are the things that we need to attend to connecting. Because there's an energy in manifesting that blocks connection. We have to grow the new cultural norm that fosters connection consistently. That's a challenge for us. At the one we have in the fall, the harvest gathering, we're focused on what have we learned through this cycle? What do we need to attend to next as we go into the storytelling cycle of the winter season? And when we come back in the midwinter, in late March, right about a year from now, we'll be able to reflect on what's the new dream that's possible because of the hard work we did over this next year. So stay in the journey with us. Bring more of your friends and relatives to the journey. I got a request from the audience. I made a request to Keith Ellison to come up and say a word, and he generously, humbly declined. But I got a request from his community, from his constituency, to come and say something, however brief. So everybody give a hand to Keith Ellison.